MTN means to your NIN. Rush to any nearby MTN store or agent. If you don't have your go to any nearby NIMC office to get your NIN. MTN. What are we doing today?
I'm here. Welcome back. It signals on 91.3 Lagos Stocks. My name is Oshodi. It signals marketplace, your name, your location, what are you selling, what's special about your product and service, and how can we reach you? Your WhatsApp line is fine. The numbers to call is 0809 191 3913 or 0809 191 3913. Your name, your location, what are you selling, what's special about your product and service, and how can we reach you? The numbers to call is 0809 191 3913 or 0809 234 5913. You can call us 0201 5151 913 or 0201 5151 913. I am waiting for you. Yes, you who's listening to us. So I'm doing the segment is called Signals Marketplace, where people call in to sell their businesses. So it's 10 to 10:15. So that you wonder what I am talking about. Yeah, I'm doing not doing 009 191 3913 or 0809 234 5913 or call us 0201 5151 913 or 0201 5151 913. The Signals Marketplace will be pitch and sell in 30 seconds. Your name, your location, what are you selling, what's special about your product and service, and how can we reach you? Your WhatsApp line is very much fine. 0201 5151 913 or 0201 5151 913. The Signals Marketplace will repeat and sell. You're wondering why I'm laughing. It's Signal Marketplace will repeat and sell in 30 seconds. Your name, your location, what are you selling? What's special about your product and service? And how can we reach you? Your WhatsApp line is fine. Okay. It's too early. It's too early. 0809 191 3913 or 0809 234 5913. Aren't we going to get someone who's going to tell his business or her business? I'm waiting for you now. 0809 191 3913 or 0809 234 5913. Signals Marketplace where we pitch and sell in 30 seconds. Your name, your location, what are you selling? What's special about your product and service, and how can we reach you? Please reduce the volume, reduce the volumes of your radio set. 0201 5151 913 015151 913. The Signals Marketplace where we pitch and sell in 30 seconds. Remember that you can sell on behalf of your friend or brother and you collect 10%. Yes, no. 0201 5151 913 or 0201 5151 913. Signals Marketplace where we pitch and sell in 30 seconds. Okay, then. What do we do? 009 234 5913 0201 5151 913. In the meantime, while we're while I'm waiting for your call, I will be discussing understanding cybersecurity. A lot of times we just hear cybersecurity and we often don't know what it is about. I have with me, and she'll be joining us shortly. I have with me a guest who's a seasoned expert in information security and generative AI with extensive experience in both consulting and industry. In her line of work, she has supported the establishment and maintenance of security programs, ensuring alignment with business objectives across diverse business sectors. As a thought leader in the tech and risk management space, she has taken on the mission of bridging the gender gap in the tech space and supporting transitioning professionals into cybersecurity with a track record of mentoring hundreds of individuals successfully. She provides expert security advice to national entities and is actively involved in developing policies for the various security sectors across Africa, recognizing the challenge associated with transitioning into tech and cybersecurity. She's on a mission to drive the empowerment of people. No, empowerment is on a mission to drive, thou shalt not. Is on a mission to drive the empowerment of people and businesses one country at a time. I have with me a longtime friend and a longtime friend, I must say, because how she moved from photography to tech that's the first question I'm going to ask her, because I know it's photography that we know. She's now talking tech. And in this area where everybody's moving to tech, you're wondering, are there no other businesses that we can join except for tech is almost like the new oil. I have with me Tola JImoh, a seasoned expert. Welcome to Signals. Are we listening to you? Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank you. I hope you can hear me. We didn't even do a sound check, but at least. I
Yes,
mean,
I hear
good
you.
that you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Thank you so, so much. Wumi is definitely a long time friend, and maybe that's not the name they know you as because I see her laughing.
Oh, everybody
But
knows me as Oshodi. If you call me Wumi, then I know that you will know me home.
that's how you know that we know from way back. When they call you a name that you're like, is that me? But yeah, it's great to be here. It feels so, so good to be here. Thank you so much for the great introduction. At some point, I was like, please let me call in and advertise my own services because
You're not it's for
but
people.
I thought,
My
okay,
people. No, it's for my
I
people.
thought, okay, no, no
Mm.
cheating.
What is in this
Let's not
point? That segment
cheat
is designed for our business owners, growing businesses, small businesses, because that little effort that you need to just somebody has to hear it. So even when
it.
you are feeling like nobody knows about my business, that way, if I can call in, somebody will hear. And it's amazing how I'm proud of it, in as much as it stresses me. Oh God, it's a beautiful stress. But I'm proud to know that there are different businesses across Nigerians. And when people say that Nigerians are lazy, I'll say no, because when I go
No.
back and check, yeah, you're almost turning this into a mini interview. But let me quickly say this. Most times when we go back to check the data, and because we'll be looking at data, we're talking about data this morning. I look at the amount of businesses, and when you have orgasmic you just have orgasm listening to other people's businesses, and
Yes.
it's so
Yes.
amazing. Now,
Yes.
joining you this morning, and we'll be talking cybersecurity a lot of times. So we're going to do primary class. And what do I mean by primary class? What is cybersecurity? How can we even understand it, even for the layman on the road? That okay, I hope it's just not my phone. Tell us.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love the way you put the questions. And when I was coming on the show, I did think that it would be us trying to make cybersecurity simple, us demystifying it, because we hear people talk about cybersecurity. What exactly is it? It seems like such a mystical thing that we're far from, but no, it's very close to us. If you own a phone, if you own a computer, you already need cybersecurity. You're probably already practicing cybersecurity in your own little way without knowing. But what we're trying to do as cybersecurity professionals is say, we don't want you to be a passive practicer of cybersecurity, we want you to understand this is something that you need. This is something that you cannot go through your day, especially if you have a digital device, right? If you're sitting down in the village, you're selling fish, you don't have a phone. If
They
you
even
live
have
on
WhatsApp.
a rock,
They even have WhatsApp.
they do. That's what I'm saying. The only way you are exempted from the cybersecurity Venn diagram is if you live under a rock and you don't talk to anybody, you have no phone. But if you don't, if you interact with people, if you have a mobile device, if you have a computer, if you deal with transactions, money, then cybersecurity is something that applies to you. And to directly answer Oshodi's question, what is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity, very simply put, is the protection of the confidentiality, the integrity, and availability of your digital and information assets, pretty much. And to further distill that answer, cybersecurity is just the protection of your digital assets. So whatever you have, whether it's your telephone, whether it's your information, how are we securing those things? Oshodi talks about the amount of business owners we have in Nigeria. It's insane. It's insane. When people say Nigerians are lazy or maybe we don't want
No,
to work,
they're
I don't
not.
believe
You
it.
will be
I
amazed
don't
that
believe
even
it.
a coconut seller, and
Yes.
we find a way of branding it, shavings, we call it coconut shavings. I'm like, tell me it is coconut, tell me it is kuli kuli.
I'm telling you, you walk into like we are so creative. You walk into a restaurant and they would sell you gari and groundnuts
And
with sugar and
sugar
milk with
inside.
another name. You would have ordered it before you know that it's gari that you ordered. Because people are super creative. And you see the names and you're like, wait a minute, it mean this is gari, soaked gari that I ordered without even knowing. But that's how creative we are. That's how much we're thinking out of the box. That's how much business is becoming non-traditional.
I like that.
And with business becoming non-traditional, guess what? The methods through which people can attack you, theft can occur, and all those things are also becoming very non-traditional. So every new convenience, because we keep saying, oh, GTB, why can't you, oh, just mention the brand. Okay. You keep saying,
Banks.
oh,
Let's just say
bank. Yeah,
banks.
oh, yes, you just say banks. I haven't been on the radio in a long time, you can tell.
It's okay.
When you're like, oh, I want this bank to implement this new thing. We keep saying, well, I want my bank. Why can't I just sit down and do X, Y, Z? Oh, my bank is already doing fantastic, but I want to be able to just, look at my phone and then it opens. I can access my bank app. For everything we're asking our banks to do, our telcos to do, for every new convenience, there is a new risk introduced.
Wow.
So it's a matter of, okay, now that, because take for instance, when people now are able to, you don't have to go to the bank, you can just do your transactions on your phone, right? It's super convenient. But you know what that means? That also means that if I had Oshodi's phone, I could possibly, also I could be her.
Somehow.
I could even just pretend to be her. And because everything on your phone is in sync, I can go into your phone and transfer money to myself. I could go into your emails, all of that. Another convenience which technology has introduced is something called the single sign-on. So single sign-on is, how like you have your email, you have your bank apps, you have other apps, and because everything is linked and synced on your phone, it's almost like you log into one, you log into all.
All. Yes. So that's why when you want to sign out, it will ask you, do you want to sign out of all devices?
Exactly.
Oh,
So you log into one, you log into all, but it's for your convenience. Human beings, we're lazy. We're not lazy from an enterprise standpoint because we are enterprising, but we've gotten to a point where generative AI is another conversation.
We're coming to that. We're coming to that. But let's
right.
Yeah.
Of course, that's another conversation. But we've come to a place where it's like, what can technology help me do? Why am I having to log into this one? If I can just log into one and I log into all, it makes it more convenient for me. But that convenience also poses a huge risk because if one person logs into one thing on your phone, they have access to all pretty much. And gone are the days when, except you're maybe trying to, if you have a device where you can lock your different apps, Otherwise, Oshodi, if you give me your phone and I say, I just want to send a text, you don't know where I'm going to roam. You don't know
Mm.
where I'm going to go because I have your device and I have access to pretty much everything. So because these conveniences are also giving us another layer of, risk, you need to be ensuring that you're practicing safe, best cybersecurity practices, even if it's just baseline. Things like multi-factor authentication. And I know that
Step.
it sounds like a big word, but it
Two
isn't.
step. It's two-step. It's
Two
two step.
step.
Mm-hmm.
Two step.
Two
So the
step.
reason why there's 2FA, there's 2FA, which is two-factor authentication,
It's not
and then there's
two-step.
MFA.
Which one is
Because not
MFA?
everything is two-step or Oshodi.
Oh yeah, which one? Oh yeah, which one is MFA?
I'm here to enlighten you, girl. So
Bring it on, bring it on. You know why I said two-step? Because of WhatsApp. WhatsApp will give you login, then you have end-to-end encryption. That one you have to put password. Hey God, though. It's almost like 3.
So that's why we called it, that's why we now call it multi-factor or multi-factor,
That's
depending on how
MFA.
you. Yeah, so multi-factor is MFA, and then two-factor is 2FA. With two-factor, your digital server would ask you for 2 things to authenticate you to get into your app, to get into a particular device, to access a particular service, right? With multi-factor, it asks you for more than 2 things. So for instance, there's your password. Sometimes you do password, you do token, then it'll ask you to put in a secret question. What's the answer to the secret word? So that in
What's
that
the name
case,
of
you
your
have
father? What's the name of your
what's
mother?
your father's name? What's the name of your best friend or the best favorite food when
You
those are things just try
forget.
to remember. Those are things just try to remember again. And also, you don't want to use something that is too obvious, right? So now, Oshodi, when they say, okay, if I can, don't use questions that people can guess easily, right? I'll give you one tip or trick that a friend of mine recently went for a cybersecurity conference. And one of the things that people were encouraged to do, I mean, you don't have to do it, but it was just a trick that 1 or 2 people use, is they actually make their passwords in their native language, right?
Okay.
So who's gonna guess that one? Imagine if my password is Mashi Milishi. You can never get
Okay, so that's another way
it
for
is, yeah.
who are listening. You could just use your password in your native language,
In
Igbo,
your native,
Yoruba,
yes.
Hausa, Efik. Okay, well, that's very hard.
Imagine if you are Efik and you say Didi
Ew.
Ankpo, that is your native, that is your password. Nobody's ever gonna guess that.
No one. And that's new.
But the thing is, when you usually see human beings are creatures of habit. We're creatures of habit. And so there's certain things that we're predisposed to. There's something called brute force attack. And a brute force is just me, let's assume I was a bad guy. But for the purpose of this conversation, assume I was a bad guy. There are things that I could use to guess your password. So brute force, simply put, is me guessing your password until I get it right. And now build algorithms. Thanks, see AI, what AI is doing to us. There are algorithms and scripts that if I have your personal information, so things like it's your birthday, your maybe the school you went to, your
Your
first name, last
child's
name, husband name,
birth, your
I
husband's date of birth.
your husband's name, I can do like a permutation and combination with all those elements until I actually get your password right. Because guess what? Most of us just use first name, maybe last name, or last name, first name. One letter is capital. And I'm sure I'm already like this, I'm already getting some people's passwords.
But
So
really, that's the truth.
first name, last name, birthday or birthday month, it's like that's what a lot of us are doing. And then you put at, if they say put special character, that's so
Yeah,
lazy,
we're
just put it
plenty.
at. I'm sure all of you
We are
now,
plenty.
I have brute forced all of your passwords just for
Mhm.
this. So with that simple algorithm tool, they're able to do like combination. And before you know it, by the time they've done 200 tries, which trust me, for a script, when you when you automate a script, those things that I'm just saying 200, that's like 2 minutes, 1 minute of work, right? And they guessed your password, right? So you need to get a little more creative with the way you're trying to protect yourself. Your password cannot just be my first name and my last name,
It has to be
or
something very
something
new.
like that. it has to be something a little more complicated. And that's why now you'll see that your various apps are telling you, make it at least 6 characters, no, make it at least 8 characters. Now you see that they're asking you to also, if you can, make it at least some sites are asking for 10 character passwords. And before it was just 11, even 11, before it was just plain text. But now if you notice, some sites would even tell you it can your first name cannot be kind of like, because sometimes we're just lazy, we're like, what's my password? Tola JImoh. We're like, no, it cannot be your first or your last name. Because let's just say that format is already cast. It's casted already, right? You
Yes.
don't want to, you can't do that. So it's so easy for these mechanisms and algorithms to pick. And so businesses, industries, sectors are sort of forcing us to be a little more secure in our thinking, because they need to practice something called security by design, right? And so the onus is on them to also partly ensure that their users are secure. So I'm going to do what I can as a business because, number one, I want to ensure my customers are safe. Number two, it is extremely detrimental to my business reputation if you get into you get into a breach. And also because of the businesses that I, as a business, I'm also doing business with. So from a B2B standpoint, there's certain things that I also need to ensure that I'm doing. So I will do my bit to keep you secure. I will not accept your first name as a password login into my platform. I will not accept a 4 or 6 character password. But then what are you, Oshodi, by yourself doing, to secure yourself? How are you ensuring that, as much as the businesses that you are leveraging, the services you're leveraging, even though they have their own baseline, and baseline just means minimum, they have their own baseline security tenets in place. What are you doing? And that's why we're having conversations like this, is to enlighten you. It's not when they say enter 11 characters, you're like, what, I can just enter 6 now. You're like,
So what
get
I've picked from this first conversation is, number one, for every business owner who's listening, for everyone who's listening, right? You know, the way we have fences around our houses because of thieves, because of
Yes.
rodents. Now on our phone, we need more security. We need to be more security conscious. So
Yes.
instead of you using the normal, your date of birth, your husband's date of birth, your child's date of birth, all those dates are very, very personal to your chest. Let's now begin to use our passwords in our native language, so that before they can crack down one, even if it's
I'm telling
abuse,
you.
it will be very, very hard.
Yeah.
Right. And even for older people, I also worry about older people who have their son, grandchild, their carers, who would take their phones. Is either the mother says we have to do it ourselves, because now most of our older people too are becoming gradually, apart from the WhatsApp messages that they used to forward, they're becoming more security conscious. So we can tell them, as they're listening, that you can use your password in your native language. So before they can get it, it should not be too long.
It should not be too long,
It should
because
not be too long.
Oshodi, because I trust especially our, South, we don't try to call
Oh,
out any ethnic. Our names are very long, and our names are prayers. So when you try
so
to
the last
see your
prayer set, or
password,
the first prayer set, just pick one and lock up your phone so that no one, and then ask questions. That's one. Then let's talk about generative AI. I've seen in the recent times, everyone is using AI to use that's AI is, what's the meaning of AI? Artificial
artificial
intelligence.
intelligence.
It must not be far from me. They use it for pictures. They use it for pictures. They now use it for their businesses. I know someone who she's into fish farming, catfish farming, and she uses AI. I observed her for a while, and now that you're talking about it, she uses it for her business, and I'm wondering, okay, nice, but tell us more.
So artificial intelligence is amazing, just like every other new advent or new thing, buzz that comes out, in the tech space. It has its pros and cons. With artificial intelligence, what happens is a model, without trying to sound too technical, a model is trained with information, with a lot of information, such that when you request something from it, it has such a broad and robust database that is able to provide you with information that you're looking for. It's almost like a search engine, but improved because it's built to be intelligent, right? It's smart in a sense. The downside of artificial intelligence is things like even ethics, right? So now think of it like this. Artificial intelligence uses the information that you give it,
Yeah,
right?
true.
It is because it is in the information that we've put into these language models that helps that's what the database is pretty much, right? Now take for instance, in places where plagiarism is a big deal,
They're coming.
right? Because
Mm-hmm.
yes, where plagiarism is a big deal, how do I lay claim to what I've gotten from my artificial intelligence model, right? The chat GPTs of this world, etc. How do I, because two people can leverage AI and come up with something pretty similar, right? I noticed recently I was trying to use AI and I think also it has to do with my photography. And I said, oh, I'm trying to run an ad. Give me something that, I'm trying to start my what's it called, mentorship sessions and stuff like that. And it gave me something that said, elevate your photography, and I thought, oh, this is really nice. That sounds cool. So I went and I made a post, and it's even still on my page there, elevate your photography. That same afternoon, a friend of mine had the same, like this.
Oh,
ele-
so the question will be, hold on. The question will be, where's the thin line between AI and my common sense?
Yes, Gus, we're getting there. Very good question. Very, very good question. So you don't want to use AI like it's garbage in, garbage out. Like there needs to be the human element cannot be lost. We cannot afford to lose the human element. Also, these days it's becoming too obvious. It's becoming very obvious when
Oh
you've written with
yes.
AI.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Somebody who normally will see you and just be like, oh, hi, Oshodi, how's it going? Conversation is very normal. It's basic, it's well structured. And then the day they send you an email, it's like, hi, Oshodi, what a pleasure to meet you, make your acquaintance. You're like, we have already met. We have already, like, you feel like you're talking to a machine. It's like, Ogbeni, you did not write this thing. Do you get?
Hmm.
So it's becoming obvious when people
It
use
seems obvious.
AI.
It is very obvious because you would almost, so somebody is writing you a copy, somebody is writing, you can tell that this thing
Yes,
doesn't have human element.
yes. It honestly, it's getting there, and the AI is going to keep getting trained over time. But you know what? You cannot take away the human element. Let's talk about things like job security, for instance. A lot of people live in the Western world are getting worried that, oh, you know what, AI is going to take our jobs. It's going
Yeah.
to take our job. Not really, not really. And I really want to debunk that. That's not very correct.
Tell us why.
We're getting there. It's more like the people who know how to use AI are the ones who will take the jobs of those who do not know how to use it. For instance, if I have the things that AI will be good for, right? If I have a 20-page essay that I need to summarize into a set number of words, maybe summarize, we put it into maybe 200 words, 100 words, or something like that, and I have 1,000 words, AI will distill that very quickly for me, right? Meanwhile, I would have a Mama Ronke who has decided that no, she wants to read every page word for word, which is not bad too. But I've done my own quicker, and then I can then go in with the human element and then look at those 100 words that it has given me and still add my own finesse to it, right? So that's number one. The other reason why I say AI is not taking our jobs is this same this same pandemonium, happened many years ago with the birth and the advent of calculators.
Oh
And
yeah.
this is taking you
Back,
way
way
back to
back.
the time, maybe even before we were born,
Hmm.
right? When the calculators were birthed, people went frantic. It's like, calculators. So you mean that people are going to be able to just add numbers without needing so my
I needed
secretarial
that
work,
calculator.
my secretarial work is
It's
finished.
over.
It's over. But 100 years down the line, Oshodi, could that have been further from the truth? Has calculator do you understand? Has the birth of calculators
Has made it
taken away
easier.
people's jobs? No, not really. Because life has just become, that's the thing, life continues to move. life continues to advance, and it's about how are you advancing with the times.
Mm.
Also, let's look at typewriters. Can you remember when typewriting was a big deal? Red typewriting. Did you know everyone did
last week.
typewriting in secondary school? I mean, we took typewriting as a, but who owns it? And I remember when my mom bought me my typewriter for school. Ah, come and see me. I was so
I've arrived.
I was like, ASDF space column FKJ. Bam, you slam the typewriter, it go to the side. You know, it was FPZ. We had typewriter lab in school and all those things. Girl,
We have
who's
evolved.
doing that? Who is doing that today?
Who carried a box?
I mean, the truth is there's still a couple of people, because I know that if you go to like the courts, they still do a lot of work on, but it is such a minute set of people using typewriters today compared to people who are using computers. So when computers also came, there was that panic that, look, we're all out of job, especially we secretaries. There's no job again for us. So computer, it will be typing for itself. But that's not really correct, right? So there's the same thing with AI. Oh, AI, because today that's, I don't want to say that we're being short-sighted about it, but it is normal for you to be a little short-sighted about it. Yes, we can get to a point where it's like AI is, becomes very smart and it can do a lot of things. But we're already seeing problems with the model. There's places where, your car is AI driven, and it's like, oh, we'll probably get to a time when people don't even need drivers. That is possible. But there's also so much more that needs to be done. There's so much technology that needs to be deployed for that kind of thing to happen. For your cars to be that smart and, drive without external influence, guess what? Your roads need to be smart too, right? In the Western world, we have, like, in the middle of the road, we have things that they're like bumps or things like sensors in the road, such that when you're driving an automatic car, for instance, if you start to veer off to the right or veer off your lane, it senses those sensors and then comes back. We haven't gotten to and it can happen maybe in 500 years or something like that, but we haven't gotten to the point where that's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And guess what? The fact that we need to maybe around the world digitize all the roads global. I'm not saying in Nigeria, I'm not saying in Africa, everywhere in the world. What do you think that's also going to do? That's also going to create jobs for people who need to do that. It's creating the need for an extra skill. So it's more like you continually need to just be upskilling with the times. Because, like I said, just as conveniences present their own risk, every advent or every new birth in technology also requires certain skills. Now we hear about things like prompt engineering. My sister, prompt engineering is literally the person who types into ChatGPT, right? Who types into the AI. But you see how we give these things big names. So I can just say I'm a prompt engineer, and you'd be like, wow, wow, you're a prompt engineer. But then you see the difference between somebody who just types ChatGPT or AI, please tell me, write an essay for me. The difference between that person and the prompt engineer who goes into the AI model saying, I am a 16-year-old girl preparing an essay, a high school essay for my finals. My audience are my teachers and my fellow classmates, and I want my essay to come out sounding like it was written for this audience. This is what my essay needs to address. So can you see that already these are two people using AI models, but they're using them very differently.
Well, both of them are still prompt engineers. So as I
So
type AI now, I'm prompt engineer.
You're prompt engineer,
It's okay.
They are both prompt engineers, but one of them, the prompt engineering is prompting, and the other one is not prompting. The other one is just not there yet. Do you get? But there's so many things that will come with artificial intelligence. There's so many, but I guess the question is, do we have the time to upskill? Are we willing to upskill? When I was growing up, we had so many computer schools around. I'm not sure if we still have, if it's still,
we still have, it's not because not everyone has a laptop, so we still have.
not cyber cafes.
It's cyber cafe.
cyber cafe. No, I'm just talking about like come and learn computer here. Like you remember that time?
Yes,
But
we
it's
don't
not
have
as much, you know. I
not
don't
as
think
much
it's
as it used to be because everybody
back
has
in
a
the
phone.
day. Learning computer was almost like oh, you've not gotten admission. Yeah, go and learn computer down the road. Everybody has a laptop now, so nobody's really teaching you the computer again. You're learning for yourself,
Mhm.
right? But the point is, how are we willing to upskill? Do we have the time? Are we willing to learn and chase technology? Unfortunately, the pace at which tech is running now is more than the way it was running before.
Hold your thought a bit.
Yes.
It signals
Sure.
on 91.3. We're discussing understanding cybersecurity with Tola JImoh. If you have questions, comment, call, send us a WhatsApp message 0809 234 5913. A WhatsApp or a call us 0809 191 3913. You were discussing, you're telling us a bit about upskilling. Now, what is really upskilling? Because everyone is doing program coding and okay, the floor is yours. Because when you say upskilling,
Oh.
you know, when and what I had to draw back a bit is everyone is doing it, and you know, for some people who have not done it, it's almost like peer pressure. You're not into tech. Yeah, what are you doing with your life?
No, I totally hear that. The good thing is tech is very, very broad. And that's the one thing that people may not realize or appreciate. We
Mm,
think that everybody who is into tech is a coder. Not necessarily,
okay.
right? There are softer areas of tech. There are people who are product managers. There are people who are scrum masters, right? All
Okay.
these people are tech adjacent or tech adjacent fields or roles,
Mm.
right? So you can either be right in tech, like right in the middle of tech. You can also be tech adjacent. So you feed into tech. As long as you are in a space that keeps you relevant, I think it's amazing. There are some countries where, sometimes I think that this thing is just a factor of where you grow up, what your country
Is
is
your
curious
country
about.
okay?
If
How
you, I
serious is
mean,
our country?
how curious is our country, if in places like, for instance, India, the average person does a technology related course.
Okay.
They're very tech driven. Everybody is either, because I met some Indians, and when I asked them, so because I'm like, everybody I meet from your country seems to be a security person, I mean cybersecurity person or a tech person, DevOps, like, and for them it's almost a cultural thing.
Mm.
If you study business, you're almost looked down on. They're like, what business are you doing? And I'm not saying that that's a good thing, but that it's just the culture, right? So the economy, the way of the people, everything. Imagine if my country is tech driven, on
Are
that's
we
the culture. You can imagine. That's a good question. You can imagine what the schools will be offering, right? The schools will be offering, a lot of tech related courses. In Nigeria, we're still, and I'm not saying that things like biz admin are bad or whatever, but everybody's doing biz admin. These days, I don't think I have to go and spend 4 years in school to manage my business. Just like you said, everybody's a business person.
Yes,
My cousin who did microbiology in one of the schools in Lagos, he has never done anything with the microbiology. He's Oshodi, if I ask you what you studied
I
now,
studied
I'm sure
cinematography. No, funny enough, I studied cinematography and
ah,
photojournalism in
you
last
are
year.
one of the few, the rare people walking in the
But
shoes.
I'm sure
Uh-uh.
that no, let's I'm not very
In
good at it.
fact,
Is
you're an icon.
which icon?
To be
Accident.
doing what you studied,
Am I even doing what I'm studying?
it's related. Is it not? It is
I
related in
am
a
an
sense.
accidental business owner. Yes, because I think I was taking a picture of my sister, and she was like, "Auntie Dom, you're very good with camera." I'm like, "What's wrong with these people?" But if I look at it, if I look back in time, did I handle any camera? Hell no.
Mhm.
Mm-mm.
Right?
So when life forces you to take the bulls by the horn and you're like, you have to do this. So then radio came and we're like, okay, so this is plan B. But for many other people, and very good that we're discussing it, because a lot of times we say that all the things that people are doing are not what they studied in school. It's very few. You did photography, very, very few.
Yeah.
Very, very few. And it's not bad. So that somebody doesn't feel, if you're listening, your life is not over.
Oh yeah. No, definitely. I mean, we're just saying, like, because the time and that's why we talk about moving with the times. The times are changing. If our economy, if the gap is now more technology inclined,
Driven.
it's more business inclined, how are we, having those kind of courses in our schools? Are we making sure that our schools are? I don't think right now, because I was doing some research and I was like, how many schools are offering cybersecurity today in Nigeria? There's
Somebody still
really.
sent us a message saying that, hello, hi, what are the skills necessary to excel in cybersecurity? You
Oh,
didn't.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get to that too. How many schools are offering cybersecurity? And just because my research is not complete, I don't want to make a sweeping statement, but I haven't found any. I think there's one private university that has something related under computer science. But so far, and the research is ongoing, I still haven't found any. How can our country, in a day and age like this, 2024, not have anything that is geared towards placing our people on the map, towards making us competitive out there on the global scale, right? You feed us with plenty microbiology and we come out, and even you're just that, like, we come out and then we now start trying to now, it's like groping in the dark. Okay, let me now find, they've jammed me now. Let me now find my way. Let me find
Right.
my way in life because this my course is not coursing, that kind of thing. And to the person's question, just so that we can answer it,
The more
what kind of
people.
skills do you need?
Yeah.
Honestly, you need to be curious. You need to be curious. And I love the fact that Oshodi mentioned that, oh, Tola, but you're not doing cybersecurity before. I am a testimony to the fact that you
You are a
can
huge one. You're a
you can
huge
do anything,
body.
and like you can be anything you want to be, really.
Okay.
My cybersecurity journey, people is like, Tola, wait. Did you, because it's as if all of a sudden we see
Yeah,
you
I,
every
I
day in
I was
cybersecurity.
wondering
Like,
what's going
what's
on with
going
Tola.
on?
And I'm like, I'm
What
waiting.
is going on?
You will look for me.
I know. And also because even for those who know me, my personality is not even this serious. And also this cybersecurity that I'm doing is as if, wait, is he a mistake? Because if I were to choose or think or whatever I would have become, maybe I'd been a broadcaster or maybe be an actress or something like that. That's I like to play. But the point is you can still do this. You can be all of that. You can be art inclined and still do something like cybersecurity. What
Someone
kind of
is
skills do you need?
asking, hold on,
Need to be
skills.
curious.
Is
Yeah.
someone's asking, is there money there?
Ah, in fact, I wish they could see me. If you could see me, that your question is already answered. Because for someone that did, first of all, my first degree was industrial chemistry, and then I went ahead and I did, photography and all of that. If I landed in cybersecurity, that it's. I mean, apart from the fact that yes, I'm passionate about it and I really want to help, that there are other, I mean, obviously it wasn't because it was not lucrative. So it's extremely lucrative. But you see, it's very important that in whatever you do, there is a passion for it, right? There's a lot of money in tech generally, even in social media management. If you find a good, because guess what? With the massive exodus and export of Nigerians and people from Africa into the diaspora, right? What should this laughing? Why I say exodus?
Baba like Exodus, Jackpot.
Because with the mass exodus of people
Mm-hmm.
from Africa to the diaspora, and just like Oshodi rightly said, guess what? That entrepreneurial nature has not changed. As we have come here, we're all doing businesses, most of us, right? So we're looking for people to manage social media. We're looking for people to do graphic design. I have a team in Nigeria, right? And I'm still looking to hire more people, still, right? So even if all you know how to do is manage social media, which is also a little, it's still tech related, right? You're not coding, but it's still tech related. Even if that's all you can do, it's still something, right? So is there money there? Yes, but you need to like what you're doing, because sometimes it's a slow road to victory. You're going to have to learn. They say you will learn, don't play.
Um,
You're going to have to learn,
Tola, hold
right?
on a bit. Hold on a bit. How lucrative is graphic design, and what do I need to start graphic design? Innocent from Yanokpaja. You talked about graphic design.
Yes, yes. Innocent graphic design is, in fact, is great. I know people are saying, no, but there's AI now. I promise you, there's a touch that the human element still gives. And there's a difference between a person who knows what they're doing using AI and a person who doesn't know what they're doing. Trust me, if you go and just give somebody who is like, all he does is rely on the model. Because guess what? There's a very popular tool, for not advertising, I will not mention the name, but the popular tool that a lot of us starts with letter C that we use for
ChatGPT.
graphics and things like that, right?
Is it
No,
ChatGPT?
Canva. I just didn't want to mention
Canva,
because
okay, Canva.
yes.
But
So,
even at that, even with Canva, very good tool for
oh,
people. But I always want, my
thank
graphic
you.
designer even knows.
Do you
Don't use
understand? Like,
Canva
it's
for
it's
me.
great. Canva is great, but then somehow, sometimes you want to create a particular flyer, you say no.
Mm-mm.
Help me call Lookman to do this flyer. This is not a Canva. Do you understand?
Yes.
But guess what? If that same Lookman uses Canva, it will probably come out different from what you would do, because guess what? He has a skill that you don't have. So
Hmm.
skill will never be erased. You don't want to get to the point where you are totally 100% dependent on, oh, this tool, whatever it gives me. What if one day the tool is not working and then they call you to show your skill? You're not like, ah, I'm AI dependent. I can't do anything without my AI
No
model.
way out.
No, right? We're not going to get to the point, and AI is really facilitating a lot of areas in life. But for instance, we're not nearly there yet when AI will be running this radio show.
Hmm.
I still need to have
Ish.
Oshodi bringing these insights and saying this and this is this. I want to be able to talk to a person. So can you see that there's still a lot of roles in life
You know,
that are
it reminds me,
irreplaceable
it
for the
reminds me of
foreseeable
COVID.
future?
We can't.
Mhm.
It reminds me of COVID. Everybody wanted, we're doing online church, even though some of us are still doing online church. But everybody wanted human touch. So it's
Yes.
okay. So it's not going anywhere.
Yes, you get. So I would not. So that's why, even with your graphic thing, I would tell you go and learn. Go still do it. It's still very, very important. It's still very, very lucrative. But with whatever skill you're learning, something you don't want to take away is networking, because you don't want to learn a skill and then it's just dormant with you.
Hmm.
Because we have to learn to apply a 360 approach. Okay, I've learned graphic design. How am I applying it? How am I putting myself out there? Right? The first 15 minutes of this call, of this show, was advertise your business, call in and tell us what you're doing, right? Why are we not leveraging those kinds of things? Put yourself out there. You're telling me, you say, if I call, maybe nobody's even listening to me. You never know.
Listening.
You
I
never know.
wonder too. I wonder
Yeah.
too that on some days where you put on the mic and you're like nobody's calling. I'm like, God, who is listening? But
Because people are also, because the thing is, honestly, sometimes it even happens to me. Like when I was in Nigeria and people say, oh, call into this shop, like they will probably not even, my call will probably not go through. Like already you defeat yourself before you even try. So a lot of us struggle with that. There are many people who want to call and they're like, but my idea is not yet fleshed. How can I call Oshodi now and be talking? And some people are
better
just,
call.
some people are just like, my voice will be on the radio. People will be hearing
You
me.
know the funny thing,
I
and,
will
and I'll
like,
say this quickly.
oh,
I'll say this quickly before
sure, go for
I
it.
talk to you about healthcare, cybersecurity in healthcare space. The
Mhm.
the Sell Your Business started, I think 7 years ago or so. I was interviewing
Oh, wow.
someone. I was interviewing someone and I got stuck. Like I got stuck. This is the first time I got stuck. And for some reason, I was like, Holy Spirit, please help me. And I just, that moment when you're in the exam hall and nothing is flowing. I was like, Holy Spirit, please help me. And I was like, okay, call in and tell us your business. And but by the time I got back to the office, and I'm like, this is a good way because somebody
It
somewhere
is.
need it. And for me, it stresses me out, but it's the best. You see, you don't want to know the principalities and power, but you just have to do it because somebody somewhere needs that
Yes.
5 minutes, that 1 minute, that 30 seconds, and it will go a long way. We have a call. Hello, good morning. You should not do this. Quickly send us a WhatsApp message 080
Oh,
08092 345913 0809 234 5913. Or you can send us a WhatsApp message 009 234 5913. Okay, can I start learning while I learn network along Innocent? Yes, you can start learning graphic design
100%.
and start networking. Take somebody's flyer, take somebody's birthday, do their design, do their
Yes.
flyer. It really just starts from there. Now,
I'm telling you.
what's with, because I have like 4 minutes to go. In terms of healthcare, how can cybersecurity help?
See that question, eh? You've just thrown us into the
I know that
bottomless.
we will have part 2, but quickly
We
tell
need
us.
to do part. We need to do part 2 and 3.
No
It's
problem.
super healthcare in the Healthcare. Last week, last week or so, I had like a call with doctors, and it was so important. Doctors in Nigeria. It was really nice, to see them interested and keen on cybersecurity. You know how you go to the hospital and there are files everywhere. People they take your information. Then one emergency, somebody is now running. The nurse is like, I'm coming. Let me run, and they leave their computer
Hold
open.
on. Hello.
Yeah, my name is Majid. I'm calling from Colorado, please.
Okay, Muju from Ikorodu. Question or comment?
Yes, please. Yeah, I want to know if it is possible for me to have a connection with Madam Tola. I'm a professional graphic designer with 7 years experience.
It's okay. You can send her a message on LinkedIn. Her name is Tola JImoh. I'll forward everybody because you almost made me popular this morning. I'll forward everybody to your LinkedIn.
They should feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Like,
Okay.
connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll be able to answer your questions. I'll be so happy to.
Oh yeah, tell us about the doctors.
So the doctors, right? Like, you know how to, like, in the clinic, and then information is people just leave the computers, they run away, and they're running, there's emergencies. The hospital is the one place where cybersecurity is the most needed for 2 reasons. The hospitals is a place where there's a lot of attacks and people don't even know.
Oh, yes.
Now, the bad guys love clinical data. Guess what? Or guess why? Because it's the most current. So hospitals historically maintain the most accurate database of information globally across any sector. Because for every time you go to the clinic, they're asking you to update or confirm your date of birth, or confirm your address, those kinds of things. So your information is current, is fresh, is hot, it's like agege bread, hot agege bread on the dark web. This is information that they really, really, really love. And unfortunately, healthcare is also that industry or that sector where security is really never brought to the fore. It's not the first thing you think about because they're concerned with saving lives. I want my own. I want to save lives. This is what I want to do, right? I don't really care about too much antivirus and all those things are not. They seem to be not second nature to that particular industry. And so it's extremely crucial that we are, especially in our hospitals, are at least implementing baseline cybersecurity best practices, for our businesses and the organization. Again, that's a rabbit hole that we cannot even come out of in 1 hour if we start.
But tell us your
we
feedback.
definitely need that.
Tell us your feedback with doctors in Nigeria.
It was amazing. It was great. And I was really happy to see that there was that sort of movement. So it's an academy where there's like a group of doctors that belong to it. I think it's a subscription model, and they get different people, different speakers from around the world to, join a call and speak to them. And they run webinars like almost I think it's every other 2 weeks or every month. And so I was a guest for last week to talk about like cybersecurity practices within healthcare, and I had a great time. They had great questions. You could see that the things that we take for granted were things that they wanted, things like MFA. You were like, oh, what's MFA? How do I use it? How do I implement it? It was really interesting. It got me very excited, like a kid in a candy shop.
I want to do nothing. Our Nigerian hospitals, are we cyber security?
We're not even remove the bar.
That's what I wanted to do. Good
Well,
morning. Good morning. My name is David. I'm David from Surulere Software Engineer. I recently graduated from the software development course. I got my code. I'm currently in search of an IT program to upgrade my skills. Please go and look for her on LinkedIn. She would answer all of your questions. Thank you so much. We
David,
would
connect
have
with me on
to-
LinkedIn.
Yes, we would have to we would have to do a part 2 of it. Thank you so much, Tola. Oh
I
yes.
can't believe it's 1 hour already.
When I was telling you
Okay,
this time,
the next call gotta be like 3 hours long, man.
come on, be going. Thank you so much to everyone who's listened in. And I hope that we've learned one or two things. Two-step authentication, MFA is let me see it in Nigerian way, multi-factor authentication. If you need your passwords, put your passwords in your native language so that we can beware of beware. Let me put it like that. Till we come your way again next week, Saturday. To everyone who's called in, I miss my callers for Signals Marketplace. Till we come your way again next week, Saturday, like we always say on Signals, dream again, create opportunities for people. And because people will be people, keep creating opportunities. Have a wonderful week and God bless. I'm calling you.